welcome Billy.
How you doing, buddy?
What's happening, Bill? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. So for the guys listening or watching, tell them who you are and what you do.
Well, firstly, it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
Lovely setup here, mate. I watched your podcast the other day with your entry one, your debut.
That's it, with Bill.
Yeah, really good. Yeah, nice fella. Good geezer.
Nice, yeah.
So I'm Lee Thompson, ring announcer.
Yep.
In boxing, MMA, Muay Thai, K1.
Nice.
Do a little bit of commentary sometimes in Muay Thai, but yeah, ring announcing's my game.
Nice.
Which I've been doing now for 5 years, and it's been going all right.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've seen you about in different places. We've known each other for a while, actually. We crossed paths quite a bit, and we in different events and things like that.
You're normally chucking people out.
Yeah, I was going to say, actually, yeah, you know me from that side of it as well. Yeah. So chucking people out from the security side of things. Before we start, obviously the ALLRAGE cups that we've got here. So every time you come on the show, you get an ALLRAGE cup. Okay, we show the camera the ALLRAGE cups.
And the coffee inside is good here too.
And the coffee's banging. So
yeah, it is banging. Thank you, Bill. I'll keep this, do I?
You can keep that, buddy. So that's yours, mate.
It's lovely, mate. I need new cups. I'm always smashing them at home. I might need another one.
Nice one, bud. So you got that. So yeah, 5 years or so, like you say, you've been doing it for now. Where did it all start, really? Because this one I wanted to get you on here because it's so interesting about what you do. You know, people don't necessarily look at ring announcing, MCing, master of ceremonies, and they don't look into that more. And actually, you're quite an important part of an event. So where did it all start?
I've been called a referee too today.
Oh, okay,
Someone
referee.
Said, you did a referee, and I'm like, no, I don't do referee. Okay. Or compare.
So I'll compare, yeah, that's posh.
That's the old school.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
the older crew normally call it compare.
Nice.
But when I first picked up a mic, would have been in the garage scene.
Oh, okay.
Back in the day.
So we're talking like actual MCing. You know?
Yeah, that's what I used to do. Yeah.
Amazing.
So me and my pals used to spin vinyl.
Okay, nice.
In our bedrooms, and we all ended up pretty good at it. Okay. To be fair.
Yeah.
A couple in particular ended up doing Camden Palace and where else did we do? Imperial Gardens in London, all sort of South London bits and bobs, and some of the radio stations, some good house parties. And we knew how to throw a house party as well, I tell you. We did. But all of a sudden we started mucking around with the mics and that, and then I remember hearing a riff should I say, on a pirate radio station. I could hear this geezer, I could hear his pattern, and I started copying his pattern. Then I developed my own pattern, and then, you know, before we knew it, we were doing all right. I MC'd at Camden and for EZ. I don't know if you know. Do you know DJ?
Yeah, DJ EZ, yeah.
So you ask younger people now.
Okay.
You say, I MC for EZ. Like, who's that? You're like, oh,
I didn't know you came from that era. So, you know, like Pay As You Go and all them guys and that. Well, Major Ace was a good friend of mine. So yeah,
from Pay. So, did he pass away?
Yeah,
sadly?
he did. Yeah,
I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, I do remember.
Yeah.
So there was a chap, a friend of mine called Hustler. He was called MC Hustler, Ricky. He sadly passed away too.
Oh yeah.
He was a Walthamstow boy.
Right, okay.
And he come down our end and we all got together, and this kid was a genius on the mic. He was a genius. Yeah. Right? He was actually pals with all the Morfire crew. That's where he come from.
Morfire, right? Lethal Bizzle and all them guys.
Right,
and that
so they were right naughty boys and all they were. And he was a naughty boy. But he was an MC. He was a genius. And we'd do things in the bedroom and we was up to bits, and he was amazing. But you stick him in front of a crowd, we'd start getting gigs out. He weren't the same geezer. Whereas I'd get the mic and I was all right with it.
You're a showman.
I was a showman. Yeah, you know, I was. And I got the crowd going and what have you.
Nice.
Fast forward maybe 15 years, and then a guy called Ralph Senalotti. I don't know if you know him.
No.
So he was a train driver, but he was also an MC.
Right, okay.
Very eccentric, used to speak in a very posh voice. And he passed away, took his own life. Wow. There's a lot of us three in early days, in this conversation. But he took his own life, sadly. But a real eccentric character, and he was the MC for Muay Thai Mayhem.
Right.
Did a bit of ultra white collar.
Nice.
And I was working with him one day out and about doing something. I can't remember what he was up to. And I was like, tell you what, Ralph, that's a bit of me. I can do that. He's like, well, you imply yourself and this, that, the other in his way.
Yeah.
But I thought, this is something I can do. I know it was exciting, the thought of it, but it's like, well, how'd you get into it? You're asking me the question now, and it's, if you don't know, what do you do? You have to just go and do it.
Yeah, because it's something that, you know, it's not something that you normally think about doing on that side of it.
And who'd you ask?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But then John Jarvis, my friend and coach at Lumpini Crawley Martial Arts Academy, I've known him since I was 19.
Yeah, John's a good guy.
Great geezer.
Such a great guy.
He is, I know him very well. Yeah. And he texted me one day, Lee, and his words, I need your dulcet tones for a kids show. I don't know if he'd been let down by someone or if he just thought it'd be more professional if we had someone orchestrating it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, let's do it. And I put the effort in and did a proper intro and made it a thing. Went for a few beers after, and he's like, what about Mocha? Do you fancy doing a Mocha show? Which was, don't know if anyone knows, but up in Crawley was a nightclub, used to be, what it used to be called?
Liquid Envy.
Liquid Envy,
yeah. And
before that
Icon
was
Diva.
Icon, that's
Icon
right.
Diva. Cool, we're talking back now,
I used to
aren't we?
MC Garage in there as well.
Yeah, do you know what? Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't come across you, actually. I used to go in there quite a lot.
You probably chucked me out, I expect.
I probably did, yeah. Yeah.
But so after a few beers, I'm like, let's do it. So I turned up on a day. And he's like, what, you're going to get in the middle and do it, or you're going to sit? And I'm like, I'm getting in the fucking middle.
Yeah, get in the middle.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, I ain't here to muck about. Let's do this. I'd spent 150 quid on a suit. Do you know what I mean?
Need to show it off.
That's it.
Yeah.
I ain't sitting ringside. So, and it was all right. It was good.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I look back at it now, I'll be like, oh my God, it's pony. But nonetheless,
it's a start.
It's a start.
It's a start.
You know, and then very quickly it was, right, ultra white collar. There's plenty of shows. There's opportunities for people. They give me one up in Bradford Football Club.
Okay.
My mate come up with me as well. Last minute it was. Bit of a mission up Bradford. But, you know, they give me 300 quid or whatever. And I remember at the hotel pacing up and down waiting for the taxi. I ain't going to lie, Bill, shit myself. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never done it for this.
Yeah.
So this is a different, you have to do a script.
Yeah,
I don't know, didn't you do some
Ultra White? Are we talking the charity Ultra White?
that's
so
right.
with John and the guy
That's
who
it.
owns it.
Yeah, John Leonard,
John,
yeah. So-
really, really good guy again. Yeah, I know them quite well.
A lot of calling the routine in, calling the red team in,
yeah.
telling the crowd about the charity and this, that, the other. So it's a bit out of the ordinary just MCing or whatever. So you're more hosting an event, right? Again, just went well, got a good, you know, did the crowd, and it was about 800 people in there or whatever it was. Then the third one I did was at the Troxy Theatre in London. Now that's a different ballgame.
Yeah.
That's like 2,500 people. And I remember walking in there, Bill, and I was like, fuck, you know. The conversations you start having with yourself, you're like, how am I supposed to be here? So like, what am I doing here? And you know, and you have to have a little relationship with it. And because of those last two shows I'd done, I was nervous for.
Yeah.
So I had a little of thought in the past as well. So it's new. I wasn't a stranger to doing things when I was scared.
Okay. Yeah.
Kind of right. Let's
Put yourself out there.
That's
and
out there.
yeah.
I can feel that fear.
Yeah.
And I remember saying that day in the Troxy, just before it started, I know you. I actually said that. So I know you. I know this feeling. This feeling is normal. I'm supposed to feel this way. And the rest is, you know, it's just taken off. And
Nice, yeah. So it's, like you said, it's a good little journey to that point there, you know. So really you look at it, you know, ultra white collar, John gave you that opportunity, ultra white collar, and then you go to Troxy, and that's when it starts getting
That's
a
when
bit,
the crowd start.
yeah, it starts getting a bit hectic, you know, and a bit big. And ultra white, really good there. They're good guys there, and we spoke about that on the last show actually, about what they're doing for charity and things like that as well. So
It used to be cancer research strictly, but now they do it. For
you
all
could
the
do it for all different
Yeah,
charities.
they do,
Yeah, that's it. I had a question. Someone had asked me who your favourite MC is.
Oh, did they now?
Yeah.
I bet I know who that was. It could be one or two people.
Okay. Let's not name names.
You little monkeys.
Yeah, so I got asked on Instagram who your favourite MC is and then why. That's putting you on the spot a bit.
Well, my favourite MCs. Do you know what? I think embarrassingly so, because of course I know Michael Buffer is.
Of course, everyone knows
the
the
GOAT,
Michael Buffer. Yeah,
and then the
that's
Bruce
it.
Buffer.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Del Monte geezer,
With dreads.
who I think speaks very eloquently. He's got he's got a beautiful tone.
Yeah.
And he does the Italian stuff sometimes, and he speaks beautifully.
Yeah.
And you know, you've got to respect that. And there's another guy, Jimmy, I can't remember his surname. He's superb. Another guy from Scotland, Craig Stevens.
Okay.
He's one of the best in the UK. In fact, probably is the best in the UK.
Wow, okay.
Have a check out.
Yeah, I'll check him out. Yeah, definitely, yeah.
But having watched my own fights back, it was actually Carl Greaves.
Okay.
Who he's a pal of mine. You know, we've been out for food and socialising in a sort of similar circle. We're on a WhatsApp group where we murder each other every day. But he was obviously watching my own fights back. I saw that you call him into the red corner. You say how many minutes and what the weight division is and what the rule set is. Then you say what gym they're from, and then you call out their name. So I
Nice.
say, right, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Right. And then you say the winner is by doing X, Y, and Z. So I watch Carl do that. So that's I'm like, right, there's the blueprint. That's what you're supposed to do.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. So you get a lot from
Well,
Carl.
I understood. It's like, right, now I know what an MC is supposed to say. Because who else is going to show you? You watch it and you go, right, that's what you do. And then, this is a strange story. I remember sitting at home thinking, right, I want to do this. By this point, maybe I was a year in, something like that, or 9 months in, and I'd done some shows, although COVID got in the way, actually, for me. But maybe I'd had, 10, 15 shows under my belt. And I remember watching YouTube, and I just put Lion Fight, for example, which is an American Muay Thai promotion.
Okay. Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah.
And I think it was in Las Vegas, and it was this MC called Michael Vale from Indiana, this geezer, and he's crisp. He's clean, he's established, very accomplished is probably the word. Great voice, he's got that American, very clean. And I'm like, I really like this geezer. Oh, let's get the action started in this coal. They're little things I'm like, oh, I like that bit.
Yeah.
And it's all about getting from A to B. How can I get from A to B cleanly and with a little bit of spark?
Yeah.
Right. And then, of course, a bit like the MC, and like I told you earlier, I remember following someone's pattern and then making my own pattern. But once you need the start off point, you need the foundation and then you make your own way, find your own way. So anyway, I took a couple of notes on this geezer. I ended up at Lion Fight in Glasgow, got invited up there and ended up cornering a fighter, helping cornering a fighter, and ended up sitting ringside with the promoter, Scott Kent, and Michael Vale.
Okay. Nice.
We went out for dinner the night before, and Michael Vale's there. So I've met this geezer.
Wow.
I said, this is weird.
Yeah.
I said, because I used to take, and you were just some guy from America. I was never going to meet you.
Yeah.
And I was sitting ring, and we got on like a house on fire.
Nice.
Like, really, when you just meet someone, you're like, oh, I love this guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we exchanged, and we still to this day speak, weekly, or, we went for, he does Polaris now.
Okay.
Which is,
Yeah.
Polaris, one of the big jiu-jitsu. And he was at East Croydon, which is a lovely part of the world. And
Sunny part of the world.
yeah,
Sunny,
I took him out for dinner, and I'm like, don't worry, mate.
Yeah.
He was
I've got
like,
you sorted, yeah.
you know what I mean? It's a bit funky.
So you'd say he's kind of your favourite MC then, for that?
So
Trying to get you there.
He's my pal, and he's superb,
Yeah.
and I think he is one of the best. I genuinely do. And then fast forward another little bit of time, Ricky Wright, who I've become really good friends with, and we speak quite regularly, and he's helped me no end work out how to present scoring. Because all well and good knowing majority win, majority draw, what it means, but how do you present it cleanly to a crowd?
Wow, yeah. There's a lot more to look into,
So
definitely.
if I asked you, what's the majority draw?
Yeah.
What would you say?
Well, the majority of people have
Right, out of the three judges.
Yeah, out of
but
three,
then get that out to an audience cleanly, crisply, and
with people that might not understand it as well. Yeah.
get from A to B sharp and
nice,
concise. And Ricky helped me a lot with that. And he said, get the crowd hype, and it'll get you around the country. Know the scores, and it'll get you around the world.
Wow.
And I learnt that with him. And the reason I learnt it was because I did a pro boxing event in Denmark.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It was an IBF international heavyweight title. Kim Lundqvist, unbeaten heavyweight boxer. And I had to get the scores right for that. So 100%. I was just repeat.
That's a big one, so you don't want to miss
Yeah,
out.
exactly that. Again, didn't need a pro license for that.
Okay.
I've done shows in Dubai and Denmark, pro boxing, no license required. But if I want to go and do 200 at the your call, whatever, for pro boxing, you need a professional license.
Yeah, well, that's interesting as well. Like you said about the professional license, I'm sure people out there that are watching and listening didn't realise that you need a pro license for that. So and what does that consist of? So what's
I've got my
what's
interview
involved in
tomorrow.
that? Oh, have you? Okay, nice.
Strangely enough,
Yeah, okay.
So, as I say, if you want to do Muay Thai, MMA, semi-pro boxing, amateur boxing, what's the other one I didn't mention out of all of them? MMA, Muay Thai, K1, whatever.
K1, yeah.
No license required. If I recently did a show in Dubai, which was on DAZN.
Yeah, I was going to say we'll get to that one in a minute. Yeah.
Pro boxing. That was an IBF Intercontinental title.
Oh, wow, okay.
All right?
Yeah.
And some of these fighters 18-0. So there's some proper prospects on there.
Proper big,
And what's on DAZN? No license required.
Okay.
I just rock up through recommendation.
Yeah.
You got Anthony Croller, Barry Jones commentating.
Wow.
Those boys.
Okay,
so there was a proper setup.
Yeah, nice.
And no license yet, as I say. So tomorrow I'll go up there and It's 140 quid
Okay.
for the license, right? But I ain't got the job yet.
Right.
Got the job yet. I mean, I'm hoping, having done those, that they're going to give me the
it
job.
leads to other bits.
Yeah, give or take.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, you have to show a bit of competence. But it's in a 5-star hotel, and I'm thinking, is my £140 paying for this? Anyway, that's another story.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't mind if we just do it in a pub. If it's going to cost me half the money.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, but yeah, they'll ask me, break down a majority draw. How would you? I should think this is what they're going to do. I don't know fully. The weight divisions, they're going to ask me to, there's going to be 3 chaps there, and it's going to be, I'm probably going to have to announce a fight to them or whatever.
Yeah, nice.
Which
It's like a little mini interview.
Yeah,
it's just like X Factor.
Yeah.
If you ain't got it, to press the buzzer.
I'm, it's, that ain't a thing to me.
Yeah,
it really
you
ain't.
do
It's
it.
just what
You
I
do it week in, week out, and you're used to doing it.
Yes,
so, but like you say, it's interesting. Like you said, you have to have a license to do it. So in some places you don't. You're saying there a little bit about Dubai, going out there for DAZN. How was that? Did you enjoy it out there?
Bill, man. Christ. Honestly, mate, that was. So I wrote. I've got. Do you know what? I hate saying this word because it sounds so gimpy.
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 Yeah, I haven't heard that in a long time.
Can we say gimpy?
Yeah, you can say
podcast?
gimpy. Yeah, you can say
Yeah. I've got a journal.
Okay, that's not a problem.
Well, right, cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've got a journal,
I'm not that
mate.
embarrassed. I just pretend I'm embarrassed.
Yeah,
Really,
yeah.
I love my journal.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
And I wrote in that, not to go too heavy, but life is good. When I was out there, life is good.
Yeah.
I wrote almost like to put it out there to the universe. I will make this a regular thing. I will be in Dubai on the regular, right? And the next night did the show. It was did a good job. It was. I mean, I felt like I probably was at 60% capacity. I've done a long year of MCing every weekend. My voice was battered. It still ain't recovered yet, to be honest. But I felt like I was at about 60%, and I'd done a job. I'd done a good enough job. But I'm thinking there's still room. But I know I could do it better on a different night, which I do on a different night. So it went well. But 2 years previous to that, going through a very tough time for one reason or another, some of those entries in that journal were dark. Dark, brother.
I can imagine.
You know? I mean, really didn't want to be about, if I'm honest with you.
And and that's the next thing we're going to get onto, So that Dubai experience, like you say, is out there. It's crazy. Like I go out to Saudi quite a lot every December. I'm in Saudi. Do some work out there, and it's a bit materialistic in certain areas, So, and when you look back at that journal that you created there, you look back and think, wow, what was life like maybe a couple of years before this? And as you know, this is all about mental health and all about boxing, and all about combat sports, and that's why it's a pleasure to have you on and open up to talk about that stuff. It means a lot to me, and I know it means a lot to you as well. So to that journal, so What was it, if you don't mind talking about it, that kind of was in there? And we don't have to go into too much detail with it, but what was you looking at when you was looking at that back? Because you're a different person now to what you was then.
That's really simple, but quite a profound comment. Look, it's got a lot of depth to it, because this is the thing. What is it I saw the other day? The work, while you're working on it, the work is working on you. Right. So you might have a goal in 12 months. Maybe it's to have done 20 podcasts and to grow your follower base by X amount or whatever. And you'll achieve that, Bill, I'm sure. But once you've got that in the tank, not only have you got that and achieved that, but what you've also got is that whole year of what it took to do that. You're now that person.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Yeah. And it's very simple, but while you're working on it, the work is working on you. And I find that to be, I've got a few goals, financial goals, health goals, and now I recognise, which I didn't before, that that's who I'm going to become in the process of achieving those goals is just as big as the goal itself.
Yeah, 100%.
And these gigs that I do. I mean, look, when you're making, Dubai's a nice little bit of dough. Sweden's not too bad. And, sometimes I do an auction and make some good money on a weekend. Sometimes I might earn 350 quid on a night. But but it might be a difficult night. It might be at the O2, and I've got to interview the fighters.
Yeah.
And I genuinely, I'm not just saying this. I mean when I say, I see it for what it is. I see that that's difficult, and there's growth in that. And I'm all about that. I'm well up for being a resilient.
Yeah.
I want to be a resilient person. I am a resilient person.
Yeah, well, yeah. To be from where you was to where you are now, and in them journal entries, you've got to be resilient. Yeah.
So I was out for Christmas with a bunch of boys in the Muay Thai scene. Chris Batts, referee from One Championships. You got Carl was there. Dave Fensom, who I work on Muay Thai for Life. He's a commentator. He's got his own gym. Dave Zetolowski. All boys that work in the game. Joe Coville, promoters, gym owners, whatever. And we ended up talking about, I emceed, how long ago was it now? Maybe 15 months ago at the O2 for Hitman.
Okay, yeah, nice, yeah.
Massive promotion.
Big event. Yeah.
Big event.
Promotion.
Liam Harrison, promoter. And it was a big do for me. I've done the O2 a few times, but the O2 that night.
What place that is as well.
Packed.
Yeah.
I mean, that was packed.
Yeah.
I mean, the undercard was packed.
Yeah.
If the undercard was as packed as I've ever done it,
Okay.
then the curtains drew, and then the main card opened up, and I remember
gosh.
standing there, I was like, that's a lot of people. Especially the way it's set out.
Yeah, because they kind of cut it, don't they?
It's
Yeah,
cut like a cauldron.
Yeah, I did a Lomachenko fight, actually. I did a ring walk for Lomachenko, and I did Joe Cordina as well. So shout out to Joe Cordina. I chat to him quite a bit.
Nice.
Hopefully, and get him on here.
Yeah,
so we'll talk about that,
nice.
buddy. But yeah, I did Lomachenko, a couple of others on there.
Wicked.
Yeah, Campbell. Was it Campbell? Joe Campbell, yeah. So I know what that's like there, yeah. But from your side of it, you're in the spotlight. I was tucked off at the side, so it wasn't too bad. So
Well, on that, being on the spotlight, right? So we're probably, I don't know how many bouts it was. All pretty the whole undercard was stacked. Maybe 8 bouts in. And we're up to an ISK, and on the undercard still. ISK English title. And I don't know what happened. I'm doing well. Everything's all good. And I've just looked over to the right, and Liam Harrison's sitting ringside with his missus.
okay.
And he said something to her. And you know, when you think, your mind sometimes you think he's saying something. Is he thinking, who's this geezer shit? Or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But you can't, I mean, people say things all the time. People probably do say your shit. You can't, you just have to do your thing. It doesn't matter what people are saying. But I just caught sort of vision of that. Didn't think, I didn't think about it too much. About a fight later, I've called out the wrong name for the winner of the ISK English title, right? I'm just like, I see my mate Chris Batts was sitting ringside, Richie Robinson, he's a One Championship judges. So my peers in the scene, really, in the Muay Thai scene, those boys have gone to the very top, and I've made a big mess up in a big stage, and you can see them like, they were gutted for me, disappointed. I've gone off, sat ringside, and I am fuming. Inside, I was punching myself.
Yeah, I bet.
All sorts of C-bombs and this, that, the other.
Yeah.
Couple of fights later, undercard ends, half an hour break. I think Liam Harrison and Vinny Shawma are announcing the collaboration with One Championship. So it's a big night. And I'm like, this is one of those moments where you either let it bother you, because it did bother me.
Yeah, I bet.
Or you go, I'll fucking show you, lot. You know what I mean?
Do this now, yeah.
As I walked off on the break, Liam Harrison's missus was like, all right, I love you. How you doing? She goes, do you know what? Liam was just saying how great you are. And then you did that mess up.
Oh,
I was like,
mate,
come on, man.
You had all the praise, and then
He goes, she said, I've never used this guy before, but he's really good.
Yeah.
Vinny Shawman said to me, don't worry about it. It's like, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
You make mistakes. People make mistakes.
Of course you do.
And do you know what, Bill? I say this to my daughter all the time as well. She's like, Dad, you're weird. Because I walk in the shop singing. I'm like that. And I'm like, Bubba, no one cares.
No one cares. No one
cares, baby.
That's it.
She's like, she goes, I care. I said, I appreciate that. You're 12.
Yeah.
But
I get it.
No one cares, baby.
And do you know what? That's a real big thing you said there, like a real big statement, because I was a little bit like that for years and years. I'd always worry about what people would think and what people would say. Now I've got this, this manifests into something from an idea that I've been looking at doing for ages, but I generally don't care. I'm here, I'm getting involved, and for yourself, I think it's a different mindset you've got to have to not actually care about it, because you're in the spotlight. Boxers are in the spotlight, and the guy's fighting, but you're the guy announcing whether they're coming in, whether they're winning, what the scores are. There's a lot of pressure on you. So to have that, it takes a lot.
And you know what, Bill? I see it as a positive there.
Yeah, of course.
I do.
Yeah,
I'm not even playing. Like, it was probably up there with my top Is that right? Yeah, definitely. My top 5 events I've done.
Okay, nice.
Right,
Yeah,
Muay Thai for life. The Sweet Stockholm's a big do, and obviously Dubai and whatever. But that was a big crowd, big event. A lot of eyes on it with the Michael Wakelin and Joe Craven world title fight. Big British bout that was. And I genuinely look back at that now. I'm like, good, bring it.
Nice.
Because I know there's growth in that mistake.
100%.
Because what do? Do you go, I ain't doing this, ain't for me. I messed up. This ain't for me. I'm obviously no good.
Yeah.
Or do you go, let's build from there.
And that's and that's the same with fighters as well. With boxers. Before we started this, we was chatting about boxing and stuff, and and boxers could lose fights. Fighters can lose fights. They do, and then they say, "Oh, this isn't for me anymore." Well, you just give up like that.
Yeah,
you can't.
Nah.
It's built in us differently. We're built to do stuff. So, and getting to that level where you do the O2 and things like that, there's a lot of pressure. So. Yeah, you messed up, but you carried on doing it.
There's a video, I think it's, do you know Huberman?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's brilliant, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think I've got a bit of a crush on him. I see he's such an intelligent geezer, isn't he? Just think, I could listen to this guy all day.
Yeah.
And he says the other day, was talking about the more difficult tasks you do, you force yourself to do, there's a part of, I don't think it was the amygdala, part of your brain anyway, which develops.
Yeah.
So if you're putting yourself constantly under pressure in hard situations which you find uncomfortable, it's clear. I mean, it's obvious, really, but it's actually scientifically proven that that part of your brain will grow.
Yeah, like triggers another part, and because you only use a percentage of your brain anyway than what we do. It's only like 5%, so 10%.
Is that right?
Something like that. Yeah. And there's more unlocked of it. So. Yes, about what we was talking about a little bit earlier about like the mental health side of things and that. So, you was talking about that journal, different things like that. Did it get to quite bad to the point where you was drinking or smoking, or what kind of things did you kind of experience when you was going through that?
So, as a youngster, I was involved with a lot of drugs.
Okay,
a lot of drugs. I was. Can we talk about that? Or?
Yeah, you could talk about that. Yeah. You talk about what you want.
I used to knock back a lot of pills.
Okay,
back in the day.
Okay,
we used to go raving and we went hard on the pills. And I mean hard.
Yeah,
you're talking like 15 in a night or whatever.
Okay, wow, yeah. You was doing it for real, yeah.
Yeah, we were, yeah. And, but even if we weren't raving, we were doing that or whatever. But we were raving. Luckily, I had a purpose, which was DJing and MCing.
Yeah.
So I was just about always trying to keep on the... No. In fact, I wasn't keeping on the straight and narrow then, but at least I had something to focus on.
Yeah, you had like a trajectory of focus,
Purpose.
Yeah, purpose.
Which men especially, I think it's fair to say, men especially need a purpose.
100%, yeah.
Women and children are, they want to be happy.
Yeah,
and it's like, whereas men, we kind of just have to just crack on. I don't know if it sounds sexist or whatever, but...
No, you're right in what you're saying, and we get it. You get it quite a lot, like you say. Even for myself, like if I don't have a purpose or feel like I have a purpose, I struggle.
Right.
So you're right in what you're saying there, yeah.
I think it's imperative to have purpose in your life. And then I met a girl who was into Thai boxing.
Okay.
And I didn't have the discipline back then. I was a really promising footballer as a kid.
Okay.
I had potential to do something with it. But then when I hit sort of 14, 15, I started smoking weed and whatever else and all that shit. Moved out when I was 17.
Okay.
Lived under the stairs at a friend's house, both of which, the two friends I lived with, both ended up on heroin later on.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you was around it quite a bit.
I wasn't around heroin.
But you was around that.
The people.
Yeah, the people, yeah.
I remember my stepdad come to drop my stuff off when I was living there. And he came in the door with 2 black bin liners, which was my shit. It was all my stuff, right?
Okay, yeah.
And he was like, all right, boy. I was like, he was all right, my stepdad. I don't see him anymore. But my mum passed away in 2008 and he kind of, just the way it went. But, I had love for the geezer. And he came in and there was a couple of older guys here in their 30s, both of which are no longer with us again. And you couldn't see through one room to the other side through the smoke, and there was drugs and this, that, the other. And I put my 2 bin liners behind the sofa where I lived because I was under the stairs, and the sofa was my wall, if you like.
Yeah.
And that was kind of what it was.
You were saying there about the pills and stuff. You was doing them quite a bit, and it got quite excessive. Did it?
It did. So through those years, it was a car crash.
Right.
To be honest, it really was a. No disrespect to a lot of those boys. They were my friends at the time. But a lot of them. I mean, they've genuinely. Shaker is no longer with us. I think he died from heroin. One of the DJ I used to MC for, he ended up on the heroin. He was an intelligent, good-looking, full of charisma, great DJ. Girls loved him. He had a real bit about. He was clever. I played football. He was a great footballer when we were kids. Me and him always fought like cat and dog. We was always competing.
Yeah.
But he was my pal, and I think he's all right now-ish. I don't know. I haven't seen him, but he had a stint on that. The other guy that I lived with, Malcolm, he was on it.
Wow.
Not when we was living there, but later on in life, it's just the way it all.
So it's like
some of them ended up homeless up in Southend, some in and out of prison.
Quite a lot, like you say, and it stems from having that addiction to that stuff and spiraling out. So really, when you look at it, you should be proud where you are now, mate, because at the end of the day, from doing that, it could have spiraled into more,
Yeah. That's what I've been told by others, and I am proud.
Good. You should be.
Unfortunately, you don't. In my opinion, you don't walk away scot-free.
No.
You can't be messing with drugs throughout your teenage years, surrounded by people who are broken. No disrespect to them at all, because I knew some people that were naughty boys. Naughty boys that were in and out of prison on the crack even, that were, doing bad shit. But they had good hearts. But they come from homes where their mum and dad weren't about, or they were in homes, or all that kind of stuff.
There's a lot going on.
So of course, that's the statistics. That's how they deal with it. That's how it goes down. You know what I mean? But I weirdly enough, I was only saying this to someone today. I don't think you rock up at 43 unscathed. I'm an experienced chap. I'm seasoned, if you like, and I've been through it, and I've come out the other side. I live a healthy lifestyle, eat well. I don't drink, don't smoke, don't take drugs. I'm trying to work hard, and I'm a grafter.
Nice.
And I'm a kind person.
Yeah.
But do I have my bits and bobs? Yeah, I do. As I say, you don't walk out. I could be a bit moody sometimes. I've got a bit of a temper.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is calming as I'm getting older.
I think that's what comes off the back of doing that though for so long. Like you say, from doing pills and from doing, that environment you was in and things like that. It comes from that world. I had it when I used to do the door work. It got quite nasty and it got quite dark. Like, you're in a situation where you're confiscating the drugs from people.
Yeah.
What happens to them next? When we
used to do a gig in Bognor, Empire. Did you remember the Empire?
Yeah, I remember Empire.
That was a proper club. That was a saucy little gaff.
Decent club. Yeah,
it was. You had a few of them down on the south coast. There was the old Stearns, which turned into Mansion House.
Okay, yeah,
and then you had Empire. Yeah, and nice. You'd get the London DJs down there. You'd get crowds from London coming to those gaffs.
Nice.
And sometimes you'd have the bouncers serving up the pills for you. Wow. A few of our boys did.
Yeah, well, that's it. And then yes, and you mentioned there like you don't drink. Same as me. Like I don't drink alcohol anymore.
I'll have the odd bit. But it doesn't agree with me. Yeah. It's something I'll avoid. I could go 2 months without.
Do you know what? It's the same thing. Like with me, I haven't touched alcohol now in probably about 3.5 years, maybe something like that. Right. But if I do, it makes you feel ill.
Yeah. Don't agree with me.
Yeah, some things I miss the taste of. I used to like my whiskies and things like that. But
in it. Nice when you finally just have that one beer, and sometimes like, it's a beautiful thing that was.
Yeah, but it then doesn't send you back into a spiral of doing that, So, yeah.
Going back to what you asked about the journal, I in later life, when shit's hit the fan, which it's done on numerous occasions, the one thing I will back myself on is I'm quite a disciplined chap. So I wouldn't go, life's shit, let's start drinking. Life's shit, let's, whatever it might be, start, doing the wrong things. I know that I've got to eat right.
Yep.
I know I've got to get in the gym. I know that I've got to put effort into my businesses, my MCing now, my daughter, make sure that I'm present. And I'm not with her mum anymore. We've got a great relationship. We sort of parted 4 or 5 years ago now. We were together for like 13 years.
Okay.
But I take her to school every day.
Yeah.
Like, Lisa and me have got a really good relationship. I'll probably take her out for a birthday with Demi, so we still do things occasionally. Nice.
You got like that outlet now, like you say. It's that outlet, isn't it? Like it's now something else other than it's like your safe area there now. Like you say, with your daughter and the things you're doing, you don't need to spiral into the other stuff,
having kids, as you know, Bill, is a blessing.
Yeah, it changes your life.
It changes your life, and it changes you as an individual. I think that I can honestly say I started to become the man I was supposed to be when she came into the world.
Wow.
And there's obviously, I'll probably butcher the analogy, but when your time comes and you meet your maker, be it God or whoever, and you're standing there and they show you this is who you could have been. How close to that person are you going to look when it's your time? Are you going to be looking at a stranger, or are you going to be looking in the mirror saying, you got there in the end?
Yeah.
And on the graph, the person I was supposed to be and the person I was being before she turned up was below that, below what I was capable of. And listen, I could do better still. I could definitely do better. And there's things I want to do better on. And I still feel like I'm not doing enough.
Right.
But a lot of my friends would say I'm too hard on myself. But she is definitely the catalyst, because they give you a reason, as you would know, as anyone would know.
Yeah. You know, I found that with mine. He's 5 months now, 6 months old, you know, still young, but I've changed as a person.
Yeah.
You know, I've had to mature so quick. Priorities are different now. You know, for me, it's all about building that future and that structure. And I think it keeps you on that straight and narrow. Every day in my head, I'm like, right, my boy, you know, I've got to do this for my boy. And you know as well, you know. So
and you want to be healthy for him.
100%. And that's the most important thing, you know.
Listen to a lot of, not podcasts, Audible books.
Yeah.
And there's quite a few favourites of mine, but one in particular I've listened to maybe 2 or 3 times. There's so many lessons in this book, and there's so many profound things, all learned through experience. And that's Will Smith's book.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
Wow.
Absolutely incredible, the lessons that are running through that. And he's obviously married to Jada, whatever her name
Jada
is.
Pinkett Smith, I think it is, something like that.
So they're going to marriage counselling in this particular part, and he turns around and they say, who are the most important people in your life? What are your priorities in life? She goes off and writes hers.
Yeah.
Will goes off and writes his. So Jada puts the kids, Will, and I think something else, and then her. Or she was maybe third in line, whatever. Will puts me, the kids, Jada, blah, blah, blah. They bring it to the counsellor, and Jada starts crying her eyes out. It's like, I'm literally, like, she's speechless. She's like, I can't believe you put yourself in front of the kids. And he's like, no, you're getting this all wrong. Like, I'm saying I have to be what I am.
Yeah.
The money-making millionaire, pop star, you know, actor, blah, 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 healthy, fit. So I can look after you guys, you know. And I think that all the time. I'm you know, whenever I get unwell, if you feel a bit rough, you think, you know, sometimes you get these certain things. It's not a cold or flu. You just don't feel right. You think, I hope I'm all right, because you just think about your kid.
Yeah, you know, and it's like that with mine at the moment. He's not too well and stuff, and I think to myself, I'm lucky. I've got quite a good immune system, so I'm all right. So I didn't catch COVID, luckily, things like that. So that was quite good. But like you say, I think people get a wrong perception of it when we say we put ourselves first, you know. And I think there is a lot of pressure out there, you know, and I'm for equality and all that. Don't get me wrong, you know. I think it's amazing. My partner's very independent and she's a very strong woman, and you know, I respect her and love her to bits. But I think there's a lot of pressure on men, you know, and there's not enough of this going on where we sit down, just have a conversation, have a coffee, have a chat, have a water, and have a laugh, you know. And I think lots of pressure, and you've alluded to some of that already, you know. You've said about the pressures that go on there.
It's I could talk about this sort of stuff for days. I could. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I really like Chris Williamson at the minute. Yeah. There's a lot of bro science flowing around, which, you know, is a bit cheesy at times, but there's some good stuff out there. I like Matthew Hussey as well. Did you know the guy?
Yeah. I've been doing a lot of research, and I've been watching a lot. And when I first started this up, I thought, right, where am I going to go with it? What we're going to do? And I think for me, it was, you know, combat sports and mental health and getting everyone involved in it.
Personal development.
Personal development, all that kind of stuff. And I think it gives you a bit of time to reflect as well, you know. There's a lot floating around.
There's so much content.
Yeah, there is.
The thing is, what do you do with it?
Yeah.
Because I wake up, I'll be honest with you, my ritual in the morning, I wake up and the first thing I do, one of the first things I do is I'll go YouTube and it'll be morning motivation.
Wow.
That could be Andrew Tate, because he's got some good stuff to say, that geezer.
Yeah.
I know he comes across a little bit this, that, the other. He's actually from the Thai boxing arena, so I know quite a few people that know him. But he comes out with some good stuff which is empowering for men. So you go out, it doesn't matter how you feel. You go out and you crack on anyway. There's days where, because I'm self-employed, I could call my day off at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
But it don't pay the bills.
No.
And there's days where if I feel down, if I feel tired, tough shit, mate.
You've got to get out and
You
grind.
get up, and it doesn't matter. You feel it's completely irrelevant. And he hammers that home, and that's a beautiful message.
Yeah, and I was going to say, actually, I'm glad you brought him up and touched on him, and I won't go into it too much because I know but I listen to him quite a bit for the motivational side of it. Yeah, there's another side people talk about and all of that, but again, that's media and that's things like this. People get misconceptions of it, but he's a motivating person. He motivates men. He motivates people to do.
About him too. People that know him,
of course. Yeah, and he motivates you to do stuff, to get up, to get out.
Yeah.
Like what we're doing now. I hope this motivates other people to be able to get up, get out, and do what they're doing. And it's important, like you say. And what at the moment? What's kind of your favourite sport at the moment? What
within combat? Or just
within
as a whole?
Yeah. So within combat, what's your favourite sport? Yeah.
Well, Muay Thai.
Okay.
Is my. I've also done jiu-jitsu for 8 years or whatever. I don't like jiu-jitsu as a spectacle. I don't mind watching gi jiu-jitsu because I was a gi jiu-jitsu player.
Okay,
whatever you want to call them. I like watching pro boxing live, ringside.
Right, yeah,
Because pro boxing is a beautiful art.
Yeah,
there's no doubt
ringside
about that.
It is good. I've seen it ringside and I'm like, wow, this is
you hear
nuts.
the shots.
Yeah,
you're like,
especially them heavyweights.
That's
like,
right.
Yeah.
But I'd have to, and there's some good MMA shows. I do one called Fight Star Championship. It's a high level. They're feeders for some of the really big ones.
Nice.
But watching Muay Thai at a high level is just art, ferocious, murderous art. It is what it is, and I'm fortunate enough to do Muay Thai for life in Sweden.
Wow,
really biggest show in Scandinavia.
Okay,
and mate, as I say, I'm sitting ringside for that, and sometimes you just think, wow, these guys are warriors.
Yeah, they're
obviously MMA is warriors too.
Yeah,
but one championship.
Yeah.
Now over in Thailand Asia as a whole.
Yeah.
Our boy George Jarvis.
I was literally about to say to you, I watched that the other day. I was going crazy. I need to speak to John actually. I need to speak to him, guys. I need to see if we can link in and get him on it because that'd be amazing. He's the man at the moment.
Well, Paolo as well.
Yeah.
George would be a great.
Big shout out to them guys because they've done amazing on what they're doing and man, you smashed it.
Oh, they have. And worth mentioning as well, they gave me my first opportunity in MCing.
Yeah.
That. John wound up Paolo the other day.
Okay.
He said to me, he goes, I told Paolo that you've put your prices up for Muay Thai Mayhem, now you're doing Dubai and that. Paolo's like that. We got him started.
Yeah, he probably thought he was being serious.
John's just winding him up.
No, that's it. Yeah, they're really good guys there, and for those watching and listening, it's up in Crawley, the Manor Royal there, and they've built such a base there. And,
that has produced world-class Muay Thai fighters for some time.
That's insane.
So you got Paulo da Silva, who in his day was, there's a picture of him up at K2.
Yeah, I've seen that actually, yeah.
He's fought in Japan and knocked out the best in Japan.
Yeah.
Ben Hodge, he was WMC world champion. He was, in a very busy weight category, he was world-class. And he was not just world-class, but he was up there. He was a high-level operator, he fought... Johan Lidden, the best of a guy in Cambodia, I can't remember his name now, Vaughan Vega, I think it was. Jordan Watson, he come up short that day. I think he messed around with the weight a bit, and then of course Ruth Ashdown. You've got Alan Sawyer was a great fighter. It's been countless, and now of course George Jarvis.
They got some serious people coming from there, and they're
George
doing
Jarvis
big things.
He's a beast.
Yeah, he is.
He's a pretty boy. Yeah, but he's a beast.
Well, I've done a couple of security bits for their events, and I think we've been on some. I've seen you on some of them. So, and watching that ringside as well, and I forget my job half the time. I'm there getting involved, and I'm like,
the one where he won the world title.
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
And it's me.
Yeah.
You see it on I've watched it back on YouTube. It's like, come on, Lee, man, you got to sit down.
It's so good, We're local, and we've got these guys. They're doing major things, and then Georgia smashed it on there. So definitely big shout out to you for that,
And I tell you what, he's a great geezer. He's such a good lad. And there's some people, when they deal with you like that, you keep going, fella. You keep pushing because you deserve it. You're a good guy. He's always had a lovely way about him. I went to Thailand in 2015 with the club.
Oh, nice.
And he was only, I don't know how old he was at the time, just to do the maths, maybe 14.
Okay.
He's one of my favourite people out of all of them. Nice. He just had that lovely little way about him.
I spoke to him and he's a good guy. He's really a good guy. And that's what it's about, isn't it? Yeah. So onto that, we kind of established that's your kind of like favourite sport there or element of combat sports. Who's your favourite fighter at the moment?
See, it's hard for me not to say George Jarvis.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Do you know what I mean?
Because
listen,
we're kind of saying it's to you,
we're
George.
not just talking about.
Yeah.
He's got a contract on one championship.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So that means that you want to talk about John Haggerty out there. He's a great English fighter. You got obviously Nico Corello just took his first loss recently. He's a beast. Liam Nolan, Liam Harrison. I've always had so much respect for. He's an animal. Those leg kicks. But George is. I mean, what I loved the last time he did the interview at the end.
Yeah.
Come across, and you could tell he was disappointed he didn't get the contract. But he handled it under all those pressures. Just had a fight, a tough fight, knocked the geezer out, and then he gets put on the spot, doesn't trip up, he doesn't over commit to what he's saying. He says enough just to get the attention of the promoter, Chichi, whatever his name is, and then quite rightly so gets called back in to take the contract, £100,000. Was it $100,000 contract?
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, but I was so proud of how he come across in the interview.
Yeah.
That was what was great. Under such pressure, having just fought.
Yeah, I saw that, and it was a bit of a war, a bit of a battle in there, and I saw that after, and I thought, man, you look relaxed, man, chiseled and relaxed.
Yeah.
I was like, so
he's got a pro boxing coaching as well now for his
amazing,
hands.
amazing.
Barry boxing coach.
Yeah, I saw that actually. I saw Barry on there.
I don't know his surname. He's just called Barry Boxing Coach. That's what he's called.
Yeah, I saw him on there the other day actually, and on his Instagram, and doing some pad work and stuff. And so George, so you're saying that he's kind of your favourite fighter?
Yeah, I'd have to say. Yeah, I mean, it's from days gone by. I used to really like Jodson Cly.
Okay,
Jordan Watson.
Okay,
who my mate Ben fought.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a good. There was the other French geezer I used to like. Can't remember his name, but he was mustard as well.
Who's your inspiration?
Do I have to pick one?
Yeah, you can dwindle it down, but yeah,
there's people I admire. So if you'd have said who's my hero, who I've actually met 3 times and I've never made the most of it, would be Chris Eubank Senior. He's a legend.
Do you know what? It's funny, and sorry to interrupt on that, but yeah, Chris Eubank Senior. What a guy! What a guy! Man. What a guy! I was down in Brighton one time because he lives down there, and I was at the Odeon Cinema. And this guy came in with a Mac on and all cream, and he walks in, hello, yes.
Looked the part,
looked the part. Yeah. Went to the counter, and it was the film I Am Legend.
Oh yeah.
This is how long ago it was. Pulled out loads of cash, started getting the cash out, putting it on the table, and he's like, "Yeah, I'd like 4 or 5 tickets to I Am, this legend."
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, he walks past me, he winks, and goes, "I'm Chris Eubank Senior." And I was thinking, everybody knew anyway. But everyone knew anyway. You know what I mean? So so Chris Eubank,
he's eccentric.
Yeah.
But do you know what? So when I was Thai boxing, if I was struggling for a bit of motivation, when I was the first time out, when I was young, it was Kickboxer.
Okay.
I filmed Kickboxer. I'd stick that on. I'm like, I'm going fucking Thai boxing. You know what I mean? Let's go.
Yeah.
But I used to watch, and you can still watch it now. And if you haven't seen it, it's worth a watch on YouTube. Sporting Life Stories, Chris Eubank.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, what I like about him is that he's a sensitive man.
Yeah, he is.
He's a very sensitive, deep, caring man. You see him on these. I think he's done a few game shows, and they rip the shit out of him. He gets upset.
I know he does.
You can see he's upset. He wants to almost cry.
Let's have some parliamentary procedure here.
But let me tell you, that geezer's a hard brother.
Oh, 100%.
He's as hard as they come.
Yeah.
Like he, talks about. I remember when I think it was the Watson fight.
That's the one that got him. That's the one that got him. Yeah.
And he got absolutely battered for 10 rounds, right? And he talks about in this Sporting Life Stories, he touches the canvas and he'd been battered for 10 rounds. This Michael Watson was an absolute
he's an animal,
right?
He gave him a fight,
And he said, the moment my knee touched the canvas, the concussion was gone. My perception was that he was obviously... What do you call it? He wasn't the people didn't always like him. Did they? So they wanted Watson, the people's champ, as he was called. Yeah. They wanted Watson to win. And he said, my perception was that the crowd were levitating.
Wow.
I think it was at Tottenham.
It was.
Right?
Yeah, I remember.
And he said, my perception was the crowd was levitating, and I stood up when I couldn't. He said, this is your bed. You've made your bed. Now you lay in it.
Yeah.
You get up when you can't get up.
Yeah.
And that was what he said. You get up when you can't get up. And he got up. He got up and he says, and he pauses, and I threw a shot. He says it like that. I threw a shot. And then he's just lost words because that's the shot that was the devastating blow, the uppercut. Yeah. He just walks over, having been obliterated. He's struggling to get up. He gets up, drops his shoulder, uppercut. And Watson from that point onwards, obviously, I think he saw the next round out. That was the shot that done the damage.
Yeah, and I watched a documentary on it actually a couple of weeks back, and there was an interview, and Michael Watson was in the crowd,
Right.
and he gets really upset.
Yeah.
For me, it's the Nigel Benn fights that I remember with him and Eubank.
And also Nigel Ben McLennan, who also was injured.
Because Nigel Ben's an animal as well, you know what I mean? Yeah,
and his son is as well.
But Chris Senior and Eubank Senior and Nigel Benn were my favourite fights.
What a great era. That's what I came into.
Okay.
So that was 90s. I was like 10, whatever, and that was my introduction to boxing, actually. I think the first fight I ever watched was Mike Tyson, Frank Bruno.
Wow, yeah, that's a fight as well, yeah.
And I think it was like 88 or something. I'm 7 years old.
That's a fight.
Bruno lost.
Yeah.
And I remember having to go for a walk around the block, just being gutted that Bruno had just lost. And I'm like, Frank, you did your best, mate.
Yeah,
you know, in your head.
Because he never quite got there, did he? I watched. Have you seen the Four Kings? Have you seen that or Three Kings?
I haven't. I've heard about that.
You need to watch it because it's Lewis, Bruno, and Tyson.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Lewis and Tyson both meet up after that, and they meet up in Jamaica, and you can still tell there's a little bit, and you've got Lewis kind of like, well, you know, I beat you, and Tyson's like, I'm the baddest.
He was a great champ, Lewis.
Yeah,
he was real deal as well.
Yeah, he was a good guy.
I watched that the other day, the Tyson Fury and Usyk thing on Netflix. Was it? I can't remember what it was called.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, Barry Jones, who I worked with in Dubai, who commentated on Usyk Tyson Fury, he was one of the pundits throughout that documentary or whatever. Good geezer, Barry. He was an ex-world champion, Welsh chap.
Nice,
funny bloke,
I've
man.
seen him on telly quite a few
funny,
times.
Man.
Yeah,
he's a character, I tell you. He's a proper
For me, I like Usyk. Usyk's someone I've been following for a long time. So I followed him from prize fighter all the way up to where he is now. And I've told people about him for ages. Said you got to watch this guy. I said he's as people say, he's different gravy. Like he's built differently.
Those Ukrainians, man.
Yeah.
Another geezer I worked with in Dubai, Anthony Croller.
Yeah, Anthony Croller. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, he's a beautiful bloke. I've kept in touch with him.
Nice.
And he fought Lemonchenko.
Yeah.
He got stopped in round 3, but it was a big ask for him to, because let's have it right. He's one of the greats.
Yeah, he is. 100%.
Lemonchenko.
Yeah. He's a good guy. Like I done a ring walk for him, like I was saying, and he for a small guy holds a presence, you know. And you're like, this guy is, and it's a shame, you know, that he's not at that level anymore. But he's done everything he needs to do. You know, I watched the one where he fought. What was the young lad? Teofimo Lopez, and Lopez beat him. Right. And I was devastated, man. But for me, Usyk's the one now, you know.
Usyk, yeah.
And you know, you got Fury, Usyk, and all them guys.
Like the boy. Daniel Dubois is a talented fighter. I think
Dubois.
he's got more in the tank than Anthony Joshua. He's better schooled.
Yeah.
He's got better footwork. He's a more all-round boxer than Anthony Joshua's just a lump. And I know he's done all right, but I think Daniel Dubois got a little bit more to offer.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'll tell you a story. I went on Soccer AM once.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And twice, actually.
That's a claim to fame, that is.
I wasn't. I was a guest. But I was watching.
Was you Tim Lovejoy?
Yeah. Was it Tim Lovejoy and
Helen Chamberlain?
Blondie? She was a good-looking girl. She's a good-looking girl.
They're my favourite days, they were.
So Joe Kawasaki was
Oh, yes.
right?
Okay, yeah, Joe.
One of my heroes, mate. One of my heroes.
One of my favourite boxers.
Unbelievable,
definitely.
mate. I mean, arguably the best British boxer of all time. 100%. You know, undefeated. Fought the best, mate.
And you know, not a lot of people speak about him that much anymore. It's crazy,
I sell his gloves at auctions, and I'm like, I don't know if it's going to go.
Yeah, that's
I don't
crazy.
know if it's going to go.
That's crazy.
I mean, he beat Roy Jones Jr., he built Gerard Bernard Hopkins, he built Eubank, he beat Jeff Lacey.
Well, we spoke about it on the last show, actually. I spoke about it with Bill, who was on it, and we're saying about him and Hopkins and about the comment he made saying you're not going to lose to a white man. And we spoke about that, and same comment kind of got made to Bill from another boxer. Right. And I said, if it was the other way around, it would be a bit crazy.
It's a funny old game, man.
But Joe Kawasaki, what a guy. What a guy.
So they've pulled out another guy, guest that was on there, was his name Adi Akinboy?
Okay, yeah.
He's a footballer.
Yeah.
Now, this geezer was a lump. Right? Athlete, obviously, footballer, but he was built like a shithouse, this geezer. I think they had Danny Mills was sure it was Danny Mills was a teammate of him, said, you don't mess with him. He's solid. You know what I mean? He'll alert you kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they've put them both on the punch bag. You know, the old punch machines you get in the pubs, right?
Yeah.
So I called, listen, let's have it right. Adi Akinboy's a machine. And you're thinking he's going to knock the dust off this. He sticks a really good score on, whacks it, like puts a good score up. Joe Kawasaki stands up, puts his glove to it like that. drops his shoulder, but like that, clears it.
Wow.
Cleared it. Like 999. I was just like,
Wow.
He didn't even move.
Yeah.
He just literally put his fist up to it like that.
That's crazy.
Dropped his shoulder, pop, like that. And
Wow.
just made this sound. 999. It's like that.
Yeah, that's
just insane.
Just an animal.
And Adi Akinbaye was a lump, mate.
Big guy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He
no,
was a lump.
that's it. But yeah, you know, before we finish up there, what's your message to anyone out there, kind of that's looking to get into maybe the MCing scene, as in announcing and that kind of things, or compare, as we like to said earlier? What's the route that they could kind of do that? I know we spoke a little bit
There's a lot
about
of opportunity. My friend in America, Michael Vale, he's like, oh man, you're so busy. Like they don't work that much out there because they're competing with American football, basketball,
yeah. Massive out there.
Baseball, that ice hockey,
Big sports.
blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So they're doing a show every couple of months. Well, he's doing UAE Warriors at the minute, but there's not the domestic stuff happening on a regular. Hence, they charge a bit more money because it's less, you know. So the shows are in the UK. Ultra White Collar, for example, to cut your teeth. I mean, that's where I cut my teeth in front of the big crowds. Yeah. You know, you did Bournemouth. You go to Bournemouth at the BIC, you'll be in front of 2,000 people.
There's a lot of people on their shows, definitely, and it's a good starting point. You know,
it is a good starting point. Yeah. It cuts your teeth with the crowd, and that's the tough part, is being relaxed in front of the crowd. If you wanted to get into it, watch videos of people that are doing it, understand what the foundation of what it is you need to say, and build from the bottom. Yeah, I think what I've seen a lot of mistakes that some people make would be that they come in and they try to talk, you know, like all this kind of razzmatazz. Like, slow down, get the basics, and then find your style, but get it right first. Be clear, be clean. Yep. Get the job done. Okay. And then within years, you might then start developing your own styles. A bit like jiu-jitsu. You start off and you start doing one kind of game.
Slow, build it up.
I used to pull guard, much to the hatred of jiu-jitsu fans, like guard pullers, but I'd pull guard. Yeah. Try a triangle. Then you try to sweep, and then you build your game from there. And I think that's the same. Well, same as anything, really. Yeah. You get a solid foundation, and then you find your style. You know,
and build it up. And for those that didn't know, you actually did the intro to the podcast, which came out incredible. So I really thank you for that. And you'll hear the whole thing on this. It's going to be funny because you're going to have your podcast with your intro on it as well. So that'd be real cool.
It's a bit awkward, isn't it?
Yeah. So you know, before we go, give us something. Give us a little thing on the spot there in your voice, so we can put that on there.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's get the action started with a cool main event. Please welcome Billy Delaney. I'll tell you what, I needed to warm that up first.
and on that, we'll leave you guys with that. Buddy, it's been amazing to have you on the show. You know, we deep dive there into different things, and it's seen a different aspect to that. So really appreciate you coming on.
Bless you, man.
And we'll
Keep
get it out
there.
Good
work with this. It's great.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Well done, mate.
And anyone out there that is listening and watching, you want an ALLRAGE cup, give me a shout. Again, these are the best cups going. Cheers, guys.
Cold coffee.
Take care.